Turkey announced on Monday that 6 of its nationals were freed in Libya after being held by forces loyal to militant leader Khalifa Haftar. Haftar, who has been trying to recapture the capital Tripoli for 3 months, has ordered his forces to attack Turkish ships and interests in Libya. Turkey is supporting the UN-backed government in Libya, while Haftar is waging a war against a recognized government. So who is Khalifa Haftar, and who is supporting him? Haftar controls almost 2/3 of Libya and the main oil fields in the country. With military support provided by foreign countries, Haftar was able to gain ground and move further east and south. In April, he launched a military campaign to control Tripoli in an attempt to bring all of Libya under his control. But months later, his offensive has failed, and he is now stalled along the outskirts of the capital. Khalifa Haftar is a former Libyan army general who spent 2 decades in self-imposed exile in the US after he was disowned by Libya's Muammar Gaddafi. He returned in Libya in 2011 and joined the fight against Gaddafi and became a key commander of the makeshift rebel forces. A few years later, he became a main player in the Libyan civil war after he gathered illegal militias and launched in May 2014 Operation Dignity, a military campaign aimed at ousting Al-Qaeda and its affiliates out of Benghazi in the east. But what started as a military campaign against the extremist groups in eastern Libya turned to an attempt to control all of the country. So who is supporting Haftar in this new war? The UAE has provided Haftar with military support for years. It was one of the countries accused of violating the international arms embargo on Libya by giving weapons to Haftar's LNA. In 2016, the UAE built up a military base in Al-Khadim in eastern Libya to support Haftar's military operation. Haftar's LNA has also received aircraft and military vehicles from the UAE. And during Haftar's offensive on Tripoli, weapons from the UAE were found in Haftar's lost territories. The UN-backed GNA forces said they found boxes of weapons stamped with UAE logos in the recaptured city of Gharian in northwestern Libya. Additionally, a US-made anti-tank missile that was sold to the United Arab Emirates was also found on the battlefield in Libya. But the UAE's support for Haftar has come at a price. According to the Wall Street Journal, the UAE has also participated in secret negotiations with Haftar in 2018 to export Libya's oil through channels other than UN-approved exporters. Days before Haftar launched his offensive on Tripoli, he was on a visit to Saudi Arabia. He met King Salman, Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, the kingdom intelligence chief, and the foreign minister. The Wall Street Journal reported that Saudi Arabia promised Haftar millions ahead of his military campaign. The source quoted said the money was intended to buy the loyalty of Libyan tribal leaders and pay fighters. Egypt has close ties with Haftar. During the assault on Tripoli, Haftar visited Egypt and took President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi's blessing. A statement by Sisi's office confirmed Egypt's support for the Haftar offensive. Egypt has previously provided military support to Haftar's military campaign in 2014. Although France publicly supports the UN-backed government in Tripoli, it has also provided Haftar with financial, military, and intelligence support. France has a strategic partnership with Haftar as it relies on oil imports from the Haftar-controlled regions of Libya. France's oil giant Total has access to Haftar-controlled oil reserves in the southern and eastern parts of Libya. In March 2018, Total expanded its reach through a $450 million deal, purchasing a 16% stake in the Waha Oil Company, a subsidiary of Libya's state-owned oil enterprise. Although the US officially backs the GNA, President Donald Trump contradicted his own country's foreign policy and praised Haftar's, quote, fight to eradicate terrorism and protect his country's oil reserves. A report by Bloomberg states that President Trump gave the green light for Haftar to continue his offensive against Tripoli during a phone call made in April. Trump's backing of Haftar came after a conversation with Haftar's allies in the region, Egypt's Sisi and the UAE's Crown Prince Mohammed bin Zayed.
Trump's conversation with Haftar took place after Egyptian President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi met with the US President on April 9 and urged him to back Haftar, according to the two people familiar with the matter. Trump also spoke with Abu Dhabi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, a Haftar supporter, the day before the White House issued a statement acknowledging the call with Haftar.
With foreign support on his side, will Haftar be able to control the Libyan capital?